Today I have with me Evelyn Fitzgerald of Fitzgerald Garden of Goodies. Thank you so much for being here with me today. How are you, Evelyn?
I am well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm excited to have you here. So I usually like to ask two questions to get us warmed up. And the first one is, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Mm-mm-mm. It definitely would have to be Africa. I've got to go to Africa.
Oh my gosh.
That's rich soil out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Oh my gosh. Is it on your bucket list?
it is definitely on my bucket list.
Oh, nice. Oh,
It
I see.
is.
Nice. Absolutely. Yeah,
Yes, all the adventures. I think
yeah,
about the safaris. I just think about everything. I've got to
absolutely.
go.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. And what's your favorite app on your phone and why?
My favorite app currently is Cash App. Can you imagine why? Cash App, though, because when you hear the ching, I know somebody has placed an order. So that's the entrepreneur in me. I know if somebody chooses Cash App to pay me that straight cash and you just hear the little coins like, cling, like somebody dropped them on the desk. That's my favorite app right now.
I love it. That is the first I've heard of for Cash App. All right. Oh my goodness. Evelyn, you are an agriculturist, you are a radio host, you are a blogger, teacher, and you are the owner of Fitzgerald's Garden of Goodies. I don't know where to start to what to ask you first, but who is Evelyn Fitzgerald and how did you grow to where you are today?
All right. Well, thanks. That's a good question. Who is Evelyn? So, what I can say, I am creative, I am smart, I am a serial entrepreneur, love starting businesses. Fitzgerald's Garden of Goodies is not my first business that I started. The very first business, I was a cosmetologist in my younger days. And so I had to promote myself, push myself, and make sure I did great services, provided great customer service. So, in a nutshell, let's see, I'm also a problem solver. And then I take that problem and try to create a business out of it because I fall right back into that entrepreneurial mind. Um, I'm never ever scared of jumping off the cliff. I'm a risk taker. And what grew me to where I am now is a major dream. And a dream is just to be, I want to be the best me possible. Period. I just want to be the best me possible. And I've never stopped dreaming from a child on up until now. I'm 49 and I still dream. And I look at who I am now. And because of those dreams, it just made me want to keep just being better and better and better. And yeah, that's me. I'm a caregiver. Uh, uh, yeah,
You
oh my goodness, I could go on and on.
you have a drive
I
and
do.
most of the women entrepreneurs definitely have that drive, the motivation.
Uh-huh.
They never stop. They keep going forward. And like you had said that, the problem solver, you hear one thing and you run with it, and you've been running with quite a few things. Fitzgerald Garden of Goodies, how did that evolve?
I'll keep it really short. So when COVID, right before COVID, okay, I was the director and operator of We Care home health providers. And I was running into quite a bit of challenges with employees, just keeping steady work. And I was sitting around with a couple of friends. One works at Coca-Cola, one works at another big real estate firm here. And I was basically the entrepreneur of the group. And I said, you know what, y'all, I think I'm going to sell my business. I'm pretty much, I'm hitting a dead end. It was 9 years. And I just said, I'm having some problems with hiring reliable workers. And I think I'm going to sell my business. Well, really, truly, power is in the tongue. So be careful when you say it. He's listening. And COVID happened, and I had to slam the doors of my home healthcare business.
Right.
So that was January of that year. A group of us was sitting around together, January 2020. And then COVID comes in March of that year, and I could not. I tried to stay open, but the cost of PPE equipment, families calling saying, "Hey, we don't know what this COVID is. We can't allow anybody in our homes," and we didn't know what it was. My husband
Right.
was saying, "Hey, look, you can't be out with seniors and then think you're going to come home.
Right.
We don't know what this is." So moving forward, I had to close the business, but then my passion was able to re-emerge, because that's what my heart has always wanted to be in, is ag and farming, or something in nature. It had to be with something in nature. And so COVID was it was a blessing in disguise for me. I know it was a lot of death, but it was a lot of rebirth too with COVID.
Absolutely.
So birth of Fitzgerald's Garden of Goodies 2020 came in, and it wasn't just the closing of my business, it was watching all the lines of people for food.
Yeah.
And so I said, "Hey, hold up. I can teach people how to grow." So I started a YouTube channel. And that's how it just kept growing, and it just kept getting bigger. And I said, I want to teach people, and not even teach. I wanted to show, so that I could just inspire them to do it. Because I think you could teach somebody to grow. You have to show them and just inspire them to want to do it. Because you have to want, it's work.
Absolutely. So
It's work.
did you always have that gardening, farming, agricultural kind of tug and pull at you?
I have. I have. My dad had me wading in the water, fishing when I was 5. Big old boots pulled up. They probably was his. And I was out there fishing. My grandmother and grandfather, great grandmother and grandfather, they had a farm. I'm from San Diego originally, but my parents moved back to Tennessee with the rest of the family when I was probably like 8-ish, 7
Mhm.
or 8. And so the interstate at that time came through North Nashville and took most of my grandparents' farm.
Oh my goodness.
But at that time, she still showed us, my cousins and I, she still showed us how with little space, you can still grow plenty of food. And she grew all around her home. So I got that from her, as well as my mom grew tons of flowers.
Wow.
She was the flower lady. We had the best looking yard in the neighborhood.
Oh
You
my
know, we
goodness.
had people asking to stop and take pictures. So
That
it's been in me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because that brings us, again, fast forward to now where, this generation growing up is attached to the computers, attached to their tablets, attached to their phones. Learning is still done a lot on the computers. So how do you get this younger generation involved or even interested in gardening and farming and agriculture?
Well, that's a good question for an agriculture educator.
There you go.
So, so I wave my magic wand, but you know what? I have to say, there is nature, electronics, no match at all. So I tell you, I've had other parents ask me the same thing. So how can you get, Johnny to put his tablet down? I can't seem to get his tablet down. Well, I'm telling you, when a child watches or comes outside, puts that down, plant a seed, and when they watch that seed grow, they are like, pew, let's go outside. I want to go outside, Miss Fitzgerald. I want to go outside.
Yeah.
I raise dwarf rabbits. So I incorporate rabbits and how I make money with my rabbits. Yeah, they're cute, but my rabbits earn their keep. So when I talk to the children about the type of money that's in agriculture, oh yeah, they will put this down. I think it's that generation that, yeah, electronics is big for them, but they also looking at how can I be successful? They think they can just be in what are they? Influencer.
Right.
I'm an influencer, so I'm gonna make big, big money. Well, guess what? I scoop poop and I make good money.
Right.
I I shear my rabbits once a year. I make a doggone killing shaving my rabbit's hair and selling it to people who make yarn and crochet beautiful sweaters, hats, mittens. You know, I have a ball. I'm a ball of energy, so I have a unique way of just pulling the children in, wanting them to just give it a chance. Give it a chance. When my son was 14, I bought a bunch of worms. Bunch of worms. He was like, oh, I don't want to do this, mom. He thought that was just the grossest thing. But what about he's 16 now? He has turned this worms. I use them for one thing, and he's turned it into a worm business.
There you go.
He sells worms to fishermen right up the street at Sweetwater Creek. He even has developed a relationship with the gas station owner that's right on the corner. And so they call him sometimes. And so I'm spreading that entrepreneurial spirit onto him. So he's not always holding his phone because he has to go out there, tend to the worms. He has to feed them. Now he looks closely at them. And so it's just an evolution type of experience when you dive into agriculture. He has 3 friends around here in our subdivision that works for him.
There you go.
They buy worms from him.
There you go. And that's the whole thing right there. I feel there is not enough programs, like agricultural to teach the children that there are other things out there, that you're not always going to make money by being an influencer, but to learn that, there are other things that you don't have to have a regular 9-to-5 job to do. But you've taught your son so many things. I mean, to be an entrepreneur, how to run a business, how to keep an accounting sheet, how to, and now he passes that on, and that's that generational flow.
That's that generational flow. He also taught a class 2 weeks ago for environmental justice through a partnership, House Representative Mandisha Thomas here in Georgia. She has an environmental program that she does every year, and she contacted me because I'm Sheba, the Green Thumb Diva of Plant the Seed radio show. But she contacted me because she knows I kind of know different people in that field, and she wanted a teacher. Well, I threw my son in that ring. He taught one class for an hour and 20 minutes. He made $500.
See? And that's just by one little class, you've taught him one step at a time. And there's not enough of that in the schools.
Well, I can honestly say I'm so thankful that Georgia has passed a couple of the House representatives. They put a bill up. It is now across the board taught in all of our elementary schools here in Georgia. So I'm over the moon that it is now going to be offered, period. Now we got to move it on up. Yes. Middle school, high school. But that's okay. Elementary school, they're sponges.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh,
yes.
Absolutely.
So we have those programs.
Absolutely. And so taking that, so how then do you spread that to, other states, to other areas? Is it more so the states that are more agricultural connected? I'm here in Delaware, so farming here is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew up in Connecticut. Farming's not a big thing up there. But you not only teach somebody to garden and to grow vegetables and other things, but then if somebody has, they don't have the means to buy everything they need or want.
Mm-hmm.
They're feeding themselves now, and
That's
they're
right.
or they're also sharing that bounty with other people.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's the other part that this country needs,
That's it.
right?
That's it.
Yeah,
Togetherness. It's a couple
absolutely.
of places around here that I do that with. I have an abundance of banana peppers this year. Tons of banana peppers. Well, hey, why not? I sack them up, different sacks. I take them to the different homes or nursing homes or different air. They're not really nursing homes. There's like a day program
But
here locally. And then I'm also a Georgia Master Gardener. I took a class probably 2 years ago through UGA. So I just stay connected with resources. I use my resources. I think one of the questions, did I have a mentor? I did. He was the guy that taught us um, through that whole Master Gardener course, and he was phenomenal. And he was actually my first guest on my radio show. I know we haven't gotten there, so I won't take over that, but I try to stay connected with people who are resourceful for me, and I'm the same as them. I share my food. I'll call, hey, I have a lot of banana peppers. Where can I go, Kevin? He'll tell me. He'll call me, hey, it's a lady giving away a rabbit. Do you have space for a new rabbit? Sure, Kevin. I'll take him in. So that's what makes the world go round.
absolutely, absolutely.
You know.
And on your website, just in the same vein, Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, then God said, I give you every seed bearing plant on the face of the whole earth and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food.
Yes, he
Right?
gave it to us.
Absolutely.
How beautiful is that? He gave it to us to, no one should be hungry. No one.
No, and it
When
just
I
takes,
hear,
yeah, like you said, and it only takes a small plot or a small garden.
you can even grow in pots.
Exactly.
I have pots that I grow squash in. I grow whatever, peppers. So I try to show people other ways to grow. I have a laundry basket that I lined with the that land cover.
Hmm.
I just lined it. I grow potatoes in there, like pounds and pounds of potatoes. You know, we can do it. You don't need
Absolutely.
acres. You don't
No,
need acres.
a couple pots and you're good.
Don't enough.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. So, um, just want to ask a question about women in agriculture. Are there a lot of women in agriculture?
It is. It is. I'm a part of an organization led by Dr. Tammy Steele. It's the National Women's in Agriculture Association. Our chapter president, Georgia, here in Georgia, is Noreen Whitehead, and it's full of women. And she's stationed in Oklahoma, actually. So she's everywhere. She's at the White House trying to push for more agriculture programs to be recognized. Her agriculture programs, she wants them recognized just as 4-H. Have you heard of 4-H?
Oh, yes.
Okay, 4-H. I'm a 4-H kid. So
Oh,
I grew up with 4-H. And she does the same thing. There's another young lady. She has an HBO show, and her name is Miss Jamila. She's also a mentor here, and it's Patchwork City Farms, and her name is Jamelia Norman. And she's been on HBO, I want to say almost two seasons, 3 seasons now. And what she does, she comes in or goes by someone's home and gives them tips on how to make an edible landscape. And just there's another young lady too that I wrote down, Miss Shantae Johnson. She's of Mudborn Grown. She also teaches you how to propagate. Pinch off a peach tree, start that peach tree from nothing, from a branch, apple trees, things like that. It is women Oh my goodness. I met so last year was my first introduction to at least 30 to 40 women who grow hemp here in the Georgia area. And they create all these different CBD products for joint pain, for veterans. They also offer jobs, employment for veterans. And these are women farmers with like, I met one young lady, she has 160 acres that was left to her. And she was from Rhode Island and she
Wow.
had to move here to North Georgia, didn't know a thing about nothing, but she's out there putting up fence. I went and visited her land. It's beautiful. She
Wow.
has cows and she's just learning as she goes.
That's the
The
beauty of
women,
it.
hey, we're
Uh,
in there now. We're
oh,
in
good.
here
Oh, good. And you're there to stay.
to stay. Yes.
I have a question. Did you
Hmm.
ever have ever have any doubts with any of your businesses? Did you ever feel like, what am I doing?
The why never crossed my mind. I couldn't say the why I did. What in the heck am I doing? I probably did say that when I purchased the rabbits and knowing my husband is not a fan of animals. Okay. Ah! So I purchased these rabbits and I first had them inside. And my whole thing why I purchased rabbits, I'm a I'm curious about fertilizer, organic fertilizer. So I did a study, my own study for 1 year, rabbit poop versus this store-bought stuff. So part of my garden was fertilized with the rabbit poop. The other part was fertilized with a store-bought brand,
Right.
and then the other part was not fertilized at all.
Okay.
So I wanted to do a comparison with the same crop, with the same type of it's in the same environment, watering. It was sort of like my own mad scientist type of thing. So at that time I was thinking like, but what in the heck are you doing? But it turned out to be so successful because I am now closely working with the Department of Agriculture to actually market my fertilizer. So
Wow.
I've gone through my first testing of my rabbit poop, and it has to be in a range span. So I'm learning more about that and what to feed my rabbits, what not to feed them, or up their greenery so that I can have a higher nitrogen level. So I'm just like, are you a mad scientist? What the heck are you doing, girl? Do you love these rabbits? But then your husband is looking at you like, girl, what are you doing?
How long have you been married?
We over 10 years now.
Right.
But he goes with the flow.
There you go.
It's never been a doubt in my mind, any of the businesses that
Okay.
I've started.
Okay.
Home health care was passion driven, truly passion driven. My grandmother, who had the farm, whose
Right.
land was taken, she passed away with Alzheimer's. So to go through that whole, she knew me, she didn't know me, she knew me one day, and then she totally didn't know anybody else. That's the most heartbreaking disease. I know cancer is, but to have your loved one not know you
Yeah.
anymore,
Yeah.
that it broke my heart to go through
Yep.
that. So my give back was take care of seniors, give back and help others who are going through the same thing and be the nicest, the most kindest person you can be. And
Yeah.
I was. I truly was.
I truly believe that.
I didn't market myself. Word of mouth was my oh, that was the lot. Oh my gosh, that's invaluable. Word of mouth. I never paid
Abs-
1 cent,
Absolutely.
1 cent for marketing.
Absolutely. That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But from there, then you went on to Fitzgerald Garden of Goodies,
Mm-hmm.
and that has been thriving.
It has.
So, what's the premise of your website? And I know
Mm-hmm.
you have a few things on the website people can sign up for.
Yes. The gardening sessions are more like a consultation.
Okay.
So I had a young lady call last Sunday. So she called for a survey of her land. She has land and didn't know what to do with. So my expertise comes in. I'll go out, visit her land, give some suggestions, look at shading, where's the light, the most light coming in from the sun. I just kind of survey it, ask her what is she wanting to grow. What is your pantry looking like? What does your family eat? Get a notebook. Let's jot down some things and see what you can grow. Let's see what's native to this area. If it's flowers that you want to grow, I also incorporate I'll take a soil sample. So, like I say, I'm a Georgia Master Gardener, so I run that on up to our extension office and get a test done and see, is it lacking phosphorus? Do you need magnesium? It never tests nitrogen because nitrogen is the first to go anyway.
Right.
But I'll run this test. I'll get back with that person with my test results, and we just go from there. Wow. So it's a consultation, basically. It's just a walk through the garden or your land, and we see what we can do together.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
So then Fitzgerald, Garden of Goodies, and then how did the radio show evolve from that?
The radio show evolved because of the YouTube. Fitzgerald's Garden of Goodies was developed. Then the YouTube happened because I'm like, well, I need to show them what I'm doing so they can see it. But then one day I was on Facebook in this group, and a lady was like, I'm looking for new shows. And I was thinking to myself, an agriculture radio show. How cool would that be to be able to listen to somebody educate you on growing? I talk about agricultural jobs. I talk about school lunches. I talk about dog food. I talk about who's running. I had several candidates come on to the show. Department of Agriculture, I interviewed everyone that ran for that office. Agriculture, my whole message, there is no culture without agriculture. I talk about different bills that are being passed in all states, and not just here in Georgia.
Okay.
So Plant the Seed radio show was about anything in America that it has to deal with agriculture. I reported about something going on in Alaska. I would talk about whatever's going on in Tennessee, whatever that commodity is. I remember one time I talked about Michigan. There's cherries. Cherries are big up there, and I had no idea. So my radio show taught me entomology. I've researched different bugs and talked about bugs. I just encourage people, don't squish the bug. Find out about that bug.
Right.
We need that bug. That bug is here for a reason.
Absolutely.
And bees.
Oh, the bees. Oh my gosh.
Without them, it would be over for us.
Absolutely.
Over.
Absolutely.
So I did a 2-part series, one for 2 weeks on bees. I had a beekeeper come in, and I interviewed him on just everything I could think of to ask him. I asked him about bees. I need to know the bees' needs. I needed to know.
Oh my gosh.
I did gardening. I did a poetry in the garden type of series where I had people come in and read poetry that they written about gardening, though. The whole thing was about gardening. Awesome. I had one young lady, she read a poem called Cornrows. Oh my God, it blew me away.
Wow.
But I try to reach people at their level,
right,
to bring them into agriculture.
Right.
So if you're into poetry, come on and listen to the show. And that way I can bring you on in and listen to some more agriculture,
Absolutely.
Here in Georgia, we had a big thing. A bill was passed last year about raw milk. I didn't even know raw milk was a thing, that it was against whatever for having raw milk. Well, now that opened the door for small farms to make a living. Mm-hmm. They don't have money for the big processing to do what they need to do to get the milk on the shelf.
Yep. Absolutely.
So it opened the door for these small farmers, and it was just, it was a grand day for them. It really was. Absolutely. So those are the things that I like to talk about. on Plant the Seed.
I was just going to ask you, what was the name of the radio show? So you've been on
Plant the Seed radio
Plant the
show.
Seed. I like it. And you've been on a hiatus from the radio show, and
Yes.
you're looking to start it up again. I have it on good authority.
Sure enough, I would love to. Teaching took over. See, I teach Monday through Friday, and my show was on Fridays at 10 a.m. And it just so happened the owner didn't have anything on a Saturday or a Sunday, and I was looking to do a Sunday. I kind of did a poll, a survey of my listeners.
Mhm.
I had gotten up to like 150,000 listeners. And so I sent a poll out. What day is better that they would listen to, a Saturday or a Sunday? So unanimously, everybody was like, Sunday morning. Could you get us on a Sunday morning? She didn't have anything. And so I just said, I'll keep doing it on internet, maybe. I'll try to post things on the social media, but it's not like a set time. I loved it.
I do too.
did.
I do too. Oh my gosh. So, before we go any further, where can people reach out to you? Where can they email you?
Yes. Okay. So it's a pretty long email address, but if you just go on Facebook, I'm under Fitzgerald's Garden of Goodies, LLC. Plant the Seed Radio Show is also on Facebook. Instagram, it's the same thing. Plant the Seed Radio Show, all one word. And it's F_Garden of Goodies on Instagram. And my website is www.fitzgeraldsgardenofgoodies.com.
And you will remember Fitzgerald's Garden of Goodies.
That's right, FGOG.
That's it. FGOG is absolutely right. Oh my goodness. So just on the business side, did you write a business plan for any of your businesses?
No doubt I did. I'm also a business major, so my professors would be highly upset if I didn't. But I did. The first one was a basic little generic one, but it had out my goals. It had out a mission. I try to make sure I have that because it has to be a GPS to get to the goal. So I did. And I highly recommend creating a business plan for anybody that has an idea. Plan it, or you will plan to fail or move very slow. You need a map. You need a roadmap to get you there. Don't start a business to fail it. You're starting it to solve a problem.
Absolutely.
So yes, I had a business plan, and I do this is just me. I don't know, some people may not, but I do revise mine at least two times maybe before. No, what I'm saying is 9 years ago when I had We Care, the first business plan, by the third, fourth year, I had to make a new business plan.
Mm-hmm.
Fitzgerald's Garden of Goodies has evolved probably 3 times since 2020.
Right.
So I've had to update that business plan. I wanted to succeed.
Absolutely. And I have said this to other women entrepreneurs starting out. Just write a basic one. Just write the basic plan.
Basic.
I mean, a couple of sentences for,
Yes.
get a template from online.
Free.
Free. Fill it out. And then, as you said, then you just keep revising it, because as you revise, you think of what's next, you think of your goals, and there you go. Absolutely. Especially,
it's smart.
Oh, absolutely. For just the everyday. And then if you have to or need to go to the bank for a loan, that's the first thing they're going to ask you for.
Business plan.
That's it. That's right.
And even if you want an investor, you really have to have your investor wants to see, well, what's the plan?
Absolutely. That's right.
A sponsor wants to see, what's your plan? What am I getting ready to sponsor?
Absolutely. And you don't, I know we all get to a point where we just feel so overwhelmed starting a business. We have all these things in place and then having to write a business plan. That's why I always say, start small, start basic, and then put it aside and then go back to it.
That's right. And it's a lot of free websites. That's what I did. I went online and just Googled and found one, and it was basic. And it asks you, It's already typed out, and
Mhm.
you fill in the blank.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what I use.
You want your business to be successful, and as an entrepreneur, sometimes you're diving into this, and we don't have a lot of capital.
No,
So some of us don't have the capital off the bat.
no.
So just do something simple, fill in the blanks, and keep on going.
Absolutely. I saw on your website you were managing the West End farmers market in Atlanta. Do you still do you sleep?
I know it. Goodness gracious, when do I get that in? But the beauty of the farmers market, I I used to last year I was hands on. I was there every Sunday, but now I'm more my number is on the flyer. They call me, I make the moves happen, and I contact the other managers. The lady who runs it, she's ran it for over 30 years. Pretty much I can make the phone calls and I show up when I need to. So the management work on that is pretty much distant.
Okay.
So I'm just answering questions, making sure payments are made. Um, and I'm also marketing and on the page, helping push that and sending out emails. So that's the beauty of that
That's
management. I can do
I
it
like that.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, did you encounter any obstacles when you were first putting together, your first business, your second business, and your third business?
Yeah. Okay. With We Care, I did. I ran into because I didn't know what to do, basically. Minor things like I dealt with home health care. So I had an incident where the children would come in, grown children maybe come in and take medication.
Mm,
Well, I didn't know what to do
mm,
because now I'm trying to call the pharmacy and get these people's prescription refilled, but it's too soon.
hmm
So those were different things that I ran into, and it just was simple things. That's when that business plan had to be revised.
mm.
I need to come back. I need to go and take some classes. I went and took some classes. I hired somebody to help me.
Okay.
Um, Basically, as far who already was in the game, who
Okay.
already knew home health care.
Right.
She was an RN, but she also had her own from New York, had just moved here, and she took a liking to what I was doing and the style of home health care that I was giving, and she said, "Let me help you." So you need to put parameters in place, perhaps locking things up with the key. You keep the key. But with Alzheimer's, sometimes locking it up and children coming in, it that was my first big problem was medication.
I'm
So
sure.
I had to take classes and just find out,
Right.
what do I do when this happens?
Right.
What
Right.
do I do? I found out I have to get a police report. So always stay open to learning. So I did. I always had to keep my uh, I know now jobs say CEUs, your continuous education. So
Right.
I had to in home health care. That was the first and only major issue that I had with that one. Um, Fitzgerald's Garden of Goodies, I thought my biggest supporters were going to be my friends and family.
Not.
Wrong. I've had more strangers support me than my own crew.
And
That was a shocker to me.
I've heard that before. I have heard
Oh
that
my,
before. That yep, family and friends are like, no.
and I'm like, I'm doing something so positive. Like, y'all eating from me. Y'all calling me, can you make me some strawberry jam and send it to me? Sure. You know,
And
I'm thinking they're gonna push my radio show. You want to be a guest on? I see what you're doing. No, I don't want to do that.
they're like, what?
Did you listen to my show today? No, I didn't get a chance to. What?
What? Yeah,
So, like,
yeah,
I have had strangers
yeah.
support me bigger. So, mistake of thinking my immediate crew was going to be, my largest supporter was going to share my products, was going to talk about what I'm doing.
No.
Nah. So
Yeah.
naive thinking,
It happens. And they're family, so you can't
yes,
get rid of them. So, it all works
yeah,
out.
it
What
all
has
works
been, right?
out.
Absolutely. What has been one of the most valuable lessons you have learned running your own business?
That there really are great people in the world. I, it really is. Um, I'm a crybaby, but it really is good people in the world that want to learn, that also are super duper encouraging me to continue what I'm doing. One of the House representatives, I had to have her on my show last year, and I presented her with a bouquet of roses because she said some things to me. Back here in Georgia, we have a Women in Ag Day at the Capitol.
Oh, wow.
And I met her for the first time there, and she said, I would like to have lunch with you. Like, me?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was one of the connections, though, through the NWIAA, National Women's in Ag. So once we sat down, she knew that I had the radio, and she said, I want to tell you, you're a trailblazer. Don't stop. Stay on the air. We need you. And not only that, I'm the first Black woman to have an agriculture radio show. Like,
That
we've
is
spanned out to try to look and find, and no one is doing what I'm doing. So I brought her on to my show, and just to recognize her, because she told me different people that I needed to meet, that I needed to interview, and I've met all of them.
wow.
They are all in the House representatives. They've all granted me an interview. So it's just kind people. And I mean, I'm not one political way. They have to be a Democrat, they have to be a Republican, they have to be independent. I've interviewed everyone, and everyone received me so well. I've just learned the value in collaboration. I've learned the value in just staying me. You
Absolutely.
know,
True to your
I don't know how to be anybody else.
and true to yourself.
True, stay true to yourself. And so my passion is here in ag, always have been. And so I just stay true to me. So that is just a valuable lesson, is to stay you. Don't try to be anybody else.
It doesn't work.
It pays to be you.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
I am so glad that you are true to yourself and you are you.
Yes. Know it. Nobody's like me.
So, what advice would you give to another woman entrepreneur just starting their own business?
Oh, get you some no's. Get you some no's. They make you grind harder. Um, don't stop when you hear those no's. Just tweak it a little bit and keep pushing. Keep pushing. I'll say it too, to any woman that's pushing forward, being an entrepreneur, stay yourself. Just
Absolutely.
because somebody else is doing the same thing you're doing, it's still not you. It's still not you. So remain authentic to yourself. Get you some nose, because that gives you that grit. It gives you that tough skin.
It does.
So
Absolutely. I like that.
that's what I would like to tell them. Keep going, though. Don't
Yeah,
stop.
don't stop. No, and I hear that time after time, but I like the part where get you some no's. Absolutely.
Get you some nose.
Absolutely. So one of my goals
Yeah.
with the Women Entrepreneur Spotlight is to build a network of women entrepreneurs who can reach out to each other, and I would love to add your name to that list.
Sure enough. Add me.
I'm,
Add me.
I'm adding you. Absolutely. So let everybody know one more time how they're going to get in touch with you, because they're going to get in touch with you.
That's right. That's right. So I am Evelyn Fitzgerald, also known as Sheba, the Green Thumb Diva. You've got to say it twice. It sounds so nice. So look, you can reach me on Fitzgerald's Garden of Goodies. That's Facebook. Instagram is F_Garden of Goodies. Plant the Seed Radio Show, one word, on Instagram and on Facebook. That website is www.fitzgeraldsgardenofgoodies.com.
Thank you. Evelyn, thank you so much for being here with me and telling me all about you, Agricultural Fitzgerald, Garden of Goodies, and everything else that you have done and everything else that's in your future.
Thank you for this opportunity.
You
It's
are
been a
welcome.
delight to meet you. I was so glad we crossed paths in that in that Facebook group.
Me too. So thank you
Yeah,
again.
you are so welcome.
All right.